in Central Texas, not Central Pennsylvania. How y'all doing tonight? Big Texas greetings from Lone Star State, once upon a time Lone Star Republic. For that, a province of Mexico, Texas. Welcome back to the program. This is Chris live just outside Dallas after a Lekker meet and greet today. Wow, you can see I got a bit of sun there. Got torched a little bit. I want to thank all of the people who were involved to help make this thing happen. Those who came, South Africans living in Texas from afar, as well as the refugees who came. And then my special guest, we had Nate Sheets, who is running for State Agricultural Commission. Fantastic to have him there with us. We appreciated that. Kathleen Lieberman, who helped set this thing up. Our host, Ian Mayer, and his wife, Rosa. They were fantastic hosts to provide the venue. It was absolutely lekker. To Hannes Lowe, who took care of the Brai Brews. Excuse me. Took care of that. Thank you for that. Couldn't get that out. And also a special guest, John B. Wells and Brandy Wells, who are just fantastic. Oh, it was fantastic. Are you jealous there? Sorry about that. It was amazing. Hey Hank, what's going on? It was truly amazing. How did Scotland do today? By the way, I didn't check out the Six Nations. So Six Nations. Let's see. Scotland lost Italy. Wow. I think I picked Italy because they were at home. Trying to remember. England destroy Wales. Excuse me. Well, Francois Fisachi, if you're in Texas, I'm relocating to a hotel about 300 meters from where Lily and a group of South African refugees are staying. So, no, that wasn't a surprise. I think I picked Italy. Let me check my Superbrew. I stand on correction, but I'm pretty sure that I picked that Superbrew right here. All this thing got changed on me now. Let me say Super. I think I picked Italy to win this one because they were at home and they've been looking better. So let's see. Did I get it right? Yeah, I had Italy by 5 and they won by 3. I got both points. I got all 3 Six Nations games correct. I had France by 10, but they won by more. I had Italy by 5. I won both points, and I had England by 20, and they won by 41. Oof, man. Wow. So that's a good Super Brew. But the meet and greet was absolutely lekker, ladies and gentlemen. It was incredible. We had also want to thank Ross, who was our musical guest. It was fantastic. It was, I don't know what to say other than it was just amazing and really a great time to spend with all the folks who came today, meeting refugees. I saw people who've been to my previous meet and greets who were here, who are now in the States. And first off, apologies to those who were watching the live stream. The microphone wasn't working properly. I had trouble with this microphone for some reason. It wouldn't connect properly. That was problematic when we started. So I had to restart the stream. It was a shame we had 900 people. I don't think we ever got 900 people at the same time again after that, because a lot of people say they can't find the stream. I don't understand why people can't find things on YouTube. You go to the content creators channel, there's a live button. When they're live, you just push them live. It kind of glows. So I don't understand that, but people disappear, but that's their prerogative. Nonetheless, we had over 13,000 views on those 2 live streams and went for quite a while. I know the camera froze a few times and people are sending messages. I appreciate that, but I wasn't checking my phone. My phone is what the broadcast was on, so I can't check it. So what I did is Priolaki came over. In fact, it's funny because I got up and started walking to the camera, and Lily came up from behind me and said, "Hey, Colonel, the camera's frozen." I said, "Yeah, I had a feeling it might be. I'm headed that way right now." And so we fixed it. But what I had to do is reverse the camera back and forth, so it worked. But Sigi, all you have to do is go to the channel, my channel, and when it's live, it'll say they're live right under the top of it, and you just click on that. So I'm not sure what people don't understand. It's a little confusing. Yeah, Mad Max, that was heartbreaking news, and so I asked the husband if I could share that news. People ask me who that is. People are speculating who it is, and I haven't shared that information because I don't have permission to do that. But what I can tell you is that Friday morning, the refugee who's been approved and was supposed to fly on Tuesday and arrive on Wednesday, she was shot in the head in South Africa, through the chin. They probably held a gun like this. It went up through her head and exited out of her brain. Her husband came home and found her. They have a daughter, a little girl. The little girl thinks her mom just fell down, so she isn't aware that she was shot. And the housekeeper, and so I don't know what happened here. We're still trying to get the details, but the bottom line is they're obviously not coming to the States now on Tuesday. What a heartbreaking tragedy. And it just reinforces how serious the situation is in South Africa, how desperate it is for people to get out. Now, we don't know if this was racially motivated, but obviously it probably had some play in this, is what I believe. But we will see as things unfold. But right now, what a truly sad, horrific situation. Yeah. So our thoughts and prayers to that mother and to that family. And I've spoken to the husband, and he called me. I missed his call. I called him back. He didn't answer. And I don't want to put more burden on him than is necessary and harass him, as he's trying to keep people updated. But we did intervene and contact U.S. officials, and Church World Services is aware of the situation, RSC, and they're aware that they will not be flying Tuesday because of this. This is really, I mean, this drives home the point this should not happen. I mean, I pray that nothing serious has happened to her. Obviously, getting shot in the head is a horrible thing, but hopefully no serious brain damage. But I can tell you, I can share with you that when she was admitted, she was unconscious, and overnight she woke up and apparently ripped all the tubes out of her and was conscious. So that's a good sign, according to the medical professionals. They were concerned about potential paralysis in one of her sides, I think the right side or something like that. But the fact that she has that muscle movement and she was able to rip those things out, that's a good sign. Expats Pen, thank you for offering, but there's not really much we can do right now. I will reach out to the family and see if they need a GoFundMe to pay for any bills and see what's going on here. Pastel Lacey said, thank you for the meet and greet. Really enjoyed watching. So heartwarming to see everyone so happy. They were. It was amazing. And so, okay, so, and South Africans, as always, are generous. And of course, refugees don't have much in the way of resources, but they were generous with their time. We took a lot of selfies. I was contemplating barring all Blue Bulls fans from the gathering, but there were too many of them, so we just let them stay. As a Stormers fan, I apologize to Stormers Nation that I let the Blue Bulls fans stay. I mean, you can see I'm very tolerant. Hank Klopper is in the chat right now, and he's a through and through Blue Bull, but we were very tolerant of the Blue Bulls fans. It's not their fault that they've been led astray and support a team like the Bulls. So, you know, as a province and as a Stormers fan, we're very forgiving. So I just thought I would let you know that I was going to kick all of the Blue Bulls fans out of the meet and greet, but some of them drove 4 hours, and I didn't have the heart to do it. So I hope you can forgive me, Stormers fans. I mean, it was, you know, it's you know, sometimes you got to be humanitarian. Mad Max has got something here. Yusef Abranji. DeAndre Pretorius has taken his own life. He reportedly shot himself at a petrol station in Brockpen. He claimed his intent was life outside Boksburg. Gunmen fired several shots. They're implicating the murder of a Brockpen suspect in 2022. There's a police reservist. He shot himself in front of his partner, a police sergeant, who's also named by the Michelanga Commission. So white cop, or is he colored? Looks like he might be colored. Shot himself. Wow. That's crazy. Yep. Wow. Yeah, the meet and greet was amazing. Thank you, Sloth Puppy. Good to see you there, and OG. Yeah, the meet and greet was absolutely amazing. That's what we're here to talk about tonight. So I got, I was telling you how generous people are. I got a cookbook, a Afrikaner Boer cookbook from the author. That's Brandy Wells. We got John B. Wells to speak. We got Nate Sheets to speak. And then I drug Lili van der Plas up there. So, you know, one way you pay it forward is that you support other content creators. It's something I've always done. Sama Sambit, I was the first person to interview him, to give him a platform and get a chance to get his name out there, and directed people to his channel. Poor little Ronaldo, you know, his channel was struggling, so occasionally I kind of support him as well. But that's just what I do. But also Lili's channel is certainly not struggling, but some people don't know who she is, so I got her up there. And I got to say this, Lili, if you're watching tonight, I wanted to get your thoughts on this. It's a lot easier to sit in front of a camera like this than it is to do it out in front of a crowd of people, isn't it? She was very nervous. Mad Max, that we've done extras was epic, well done, and all involved. Well, the one we did in Rochester was a bit different because it was also a sensing session. So like the term we use in the military is a sensing session, not a complaint or bitch session, but a sensing session to get a sense of what's really going on. That was inappropriate to broadcast, so we didn't broadcast it. But we'll be doing more meet and greets. So beyond that, I got the cookbook, and then my host gave me this lovely microphone set that's similar to what I have, but it's better quality. It's DJI. So thank you to Ian Mayer and his wife Rosa, who are fantastic hosts. Lovely place. I hope you guys enjoyed the broadcast. I did go down and show you the lake afterwards, towards the end of it. Thank you for that gift, and also a couple people gave me some nice little super chats without embarrassing them. I won't unless they tell me I can do that. Thank you for that. That was helpful. I really appreciate that. One of which was delivered from off-site, and another was given to me at site. So it was very kind. We had Ross, who was performing. Boy, that guy can sing. Yeah, it has some great recipes in it. So, yeah. And we had Ross, who was a fantastic performer. I had no idea. Lily told me she knew this guy was a singer, and I thought he was a Texan. He's a South African, and he's got a great voice. So I really enjoyed that. It was fantastic, Light Rain. It really was. I see that Dogzilla raised a smart-ass question. What makes it a big Texas greeting? Well, anything in Texas is big, so get over yourself, buddy. As I said, Stormer supporter is also human according to definition. Hank, how's it going, man? Hank is an OG. Hank has been with us from very, very, very outset. We love Hank, even though we haven't seen him on the last trip. So, or did I see him last trip? Maybe the game. It was about 85 people, Werner. It didn't look like many. Oh, no. It was 85. 85 people were there. I'm not sure what you're talking about. 85 people there. I counted. I counted 3 times during it. I counted before we started. I counted when I was off camera and others were speaking, like John B. Wells. And I counted again afterwards. You got to remember, there also kids came, and the kids were running around all over the place. So as I said before this, that any if it's just a host and I and Brendy and John, and then that's going to be success, and Lily. But anything beyond that would be cool. It was 85 people, yeah. And I might have undercounted. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Almost everybody there was a South African. Almost everybody there, except for me. There were a couple of Americans. Maybe there were less than 10 Americans, maybe 5. There were 45 to 50 refugees, which is pretty cool. There's 251 refugees in Texas at the end of January. And so of 251, there's more now because it's been a week, but maybe not more. But we can't go because people just arrive, don't have a way to get around. So the people who arrived through January is 251, and at least 55 of them were refugees. They're here. That's pretty good. What about future meet and greet? And well, I'll consider Kentucky. That's you guys keep pushing me for that. But the next meet and greet will be in Las Vegas, baby. Vegas is next, coming up in March. I'm just trying to finalize the dates. I got to get a hold of the folks out there. So I'm coming to Vegas for a meet and greet, and I'm looking forward to that. Every year, be bigger. Can't wait to attend the next one. You're welcome, Werner. Well, I don't think it'll be bigger than Texas. I mean, it has the most number of refugees, so they're going to be smaller. Again, if I go from here and I go to Vegas and 6 people come, people say, well, that's not much. It's plenty. That's not the point. The point is to show support for the refugees. Oftentimes they aren't getting it from people, so I'm trying to show it for them. So, and then I'm looking at potentially April for Florida. There's a lot of refugees show up in Florida as well. Virginia's not too far away, but that'll be a drive, not a flight, so I'll have to consider a Virginia one. But the Dallas, there was a huge concentration of refugees, so it made sense. Now, I'm making myself available to refugees the next couple of days as well, folks. So I'm leaving this hotel tonight, and I don't gamble. Life is a gamble, so I like to watch people gambling. It's entertaining, but I don't gamble. So I'll drive south back towards Dallas because I'm north of Dallas, and go to the northeast corner. I booked the hotel on the Hilton chain just about a quarter mile from where Lily and the complex is where these people are living. So I will check in tomorrow afternoon. I got an interview in the morning with Ross. I also had another interview before that. I got to get up for business. That's going to be interesting because this noisy thing here. A lot of expats in Greensboro, Bowling Green. Okay, okay. Well, I did not many of them show up in here. A few show up in the chat. So expats, yeah. So not many of them showing up. But yeah, so that's the next couple on tap. So we'll see what happens once refugee numbers get to thousands. There will be very exciting events. Well, this was a very exciting event. Yeah, I don't know what the obsession with Springbok shirts was. One lady had a Springbok shirt, but she is a South African that's been here since 1997, and she had a Springbok jersey on. It was too warm for me to wear it. And I don't travel with my Springbok jerseys because airlines lose stuff, and I treasure my jerseys. So when I go to South Africa, I never take my Springbok jerseys, always buy it. The only time I go with a Springbok jersey is a World Cup. When I buy a Springbok jersey, I take it to the World Cup because I'm going to wear it to the World Cup. But other than that, I never carry Springbok jerseys or any. Once I have a rugby jersey, it never leaves my house unless it's a local drive or something like that. My jersey stayed home because I don't want to be lost. So yeah. It looked great. What did you buy? They had boerewors. They had steaks. I thought they were going to have choppies there, but they didn't. But it was pretty good. I did have the braaibrotjie, and it did not have any onions in it. It was fantasties. Fantasties. Yep, it was fantasties. I really enjoyed it. I didn't get any food because I was so busy making sure the camera was working and talking to people. Oh, you couldn't hear him? Really? Yeah, he was, the guy was, he's running for the Agriculture Commission. I'm sorry you couldn't hear him. The microphone was there. It should have picked it up fine. Yeah, so Mr. Wells looks like a good human being. Yeah, no, he's a good guy. Yeah, no, that was, and is it Annie's place? That was fantastic. But I didn't get any food, and I didn't make a stink about it. I mean, it was fine. Oh, you couldn't hear his name. His name was Nate Sheets. So he is likely to be on the Agricultural Commission, which could be good news for South Africans. Obviously, he has a warm spot for South Africans. He's been to Africa about 20 times. He's done a lot of missionary work there. So it was nice to meet him. I've got his contact, so I'm going to reach out to him. He's got a primary coming up, and then the general election in November. So if he gets elected in November for future refugees coming in, we might be able to start linking them up. I did talk to someone about maybe, I mean, this is a stretch. It's way out. But maybe if there's something for lending or credit for something that could be done, maybe land grants or something like that for small-scale farming for Afrikaners coming over and South Africans who want to get involved in that. But that's a pipe dream at the moment, but it's something to discuss briefly with him here in Texas. Not elsewhere, here in Texas. So yeah, yeah. So I got some lovely things from folks. It can't be good without onions. No, it was fantastic. No onions, green leaves. It was amazing because there were no onions in it. Onions would have ruined my braaibrotjie. It was fantastic. I love it. I love it. I love it. It was just, as I said, fantastic. So it was just good stuff. That would be awesome. Would love to start farming when I get there one day. Yep. Thank you, Colonel. It was great meeting in person today. Vanna, likewise. Bye donkey. Wasn't it fun? I mean, that was a Lekker event. Anybody that says different is a liar. No, it was. And so it was really great. John B. Wells had some great words. Nate Sheets had some great words. We had brought Lily up so we can help promote her and her content. And then I had Brandy come up at kind of like the halftime. We took a pause, and then we were getting set up to let Ross play. And he is good, man. He sang Elvis, and he was really, really good. Really talented guy. So I'm going to interview him in the morning, but I've got a busy morning. At 8 o'clock, I'm on with Chris Sten, and after Chris Sten, it's then I got him, and then I got to check out the hotel. So busy morning for me. Yeah, never getting a rest. And so tonight, I was interviewed by a journalist, a mainstream journalist here in South Africa that is not in South Africa, in the United States, that is interested in pursuing the corruption tied to refugee case assistance. Yes, Hank, I'll be at the game. Will you be seeing the Bucks against the All Blacks? Yes. I will be seeing them in Baltimore. Beyond that, Hank, send me an email or send me a WhatsApp to ask me that question. I'm not talking about the other tour because there's been challenges with tickets. But send me a private message, okay? Oh yeah, no, it's true, Royal Stephen. If that's how you view it, that's definitely true. Yeah, everybody won the cookbooks, Debbie, but only had 5 to give out because one went to Nate Sheets. He got one. there were 6 total. I got a hard copy, as did our host, which was really lovely. So I've got it here in my bag. If you want to see it, I can dig it out. Let me go grab it. Hang on. Oh. Survival food, South African pioneer history and cuisine. History told through recipes, how the pioneers survived against the odds, perfected their survival food to give them strength, endure the bad times, and nourishment to enjoy the good times. Heritage recipes and true stories from the heart of South Africa. 100 plus recipes. Yep, Brandy Wells. There's Brandy's signature on the back. Yep, so this is really cool. So it's a lovely book to the way it's organized, but Brandy signed it here. To Colonel Wyatt, thanks so much for all you do for our people. Much blessings. And this is February 7th, 2026, Brandy Wells. And okay, there's an X down there. Is that a hug or a kiss? What's an X? I think an X is a hug. No kiss. Yeah, so there's a forward in here by a couple different folks. And then you got Malva Pudding, Cook Sisters, Milk Tart, Poikies, Rusk. Yeah. So fantastic stuff here. So really lovely cookbook. Some places to make notes in it. So it's nice. And I got a hard copy, so that was really nice. It's a kiss. No, it's a hug. Oh, I got a kiss. All right. Don't tell John B. Wells, man. Don't be telling John B. Wells that she gave me a kiss. Oh, that'll be the end of that. I'll never be on that show again. Yeah, I've heard that before, that Texas has more privately owned tigers than the rest of the wild population of the world. Yeah, it is a wonderful book, Debbie. Guy, it depends. I didn't do any interviews today. I've spent 12 hours there. I just got back, got myself some Burger King. I had to get something. I already ate. Oh, the meat was fantastic. Oh, the meat and the barbecue was so good together. Yeah, but initially I didn't have any food, and the grill was all finished. And then I didn't say anything, but I think somebody noticed I hadn't eaten, and they said, "Did you get something?" I said, "No, it's all gone. It's fine." Caravan to Midnight is number 2 in ratings. What ratings? That's pretty cool. Well, John B. Wells was there tonight, and people loved him. He was fantastic. So I always introduce him as the Lexington man, which the older generation definitely gets. But no, it was great to meet John. Got a lovely selfie with him. I got to send it to him and Brandy. And yeah, it was something else. Look, this was much more than I hoped it could be. You know, if I came down here and 5 people came, it was going to be great. But 85 people, and our hosts were amazing. The location was fantastic. It was truly, truly epic. Look, I've done many, many meet and greets. As I said, the first time in 2022, I did, 16 or 17 in 30 days. I can't remember. Then I did, the next time, I did like 15 and then 17 and then 18 and every time. So I've done probably about 70 to 80 meet and greets in South Africa. I've done 4 or 5 meet and greets in the UK. And I've now done 2 here in the States. And this is one that will always be with me. I always remember this one. It's one of the best ones ever. After action satisfaction. I like that, Nicola. How's it going? How's Bolito? Is it hot? I'm late to the chat. Amazing to hear them. It was a big success. Future looks bright. Yep. Warthog has high fat content is best. Okay. Each time the meet and greets grow bigger. Yeah, they do. Lexington man was cool. Brings back memories. Yep. Thank you for your time and effort. Yeah, no, Green Leaves. And thank you. There's a few people in the chat, at least one who was at the meet and greet. You tell people. I mean, you know, don't just take my word for it. The people were there. It was Lekker. It was. I mean, it's what it's meant to be. It was to rob from the ANC. It was Ubuntu, man. It was spirited community. It was fantastic and lovely stuff. Sound of things. It was such an amazing event. It was, and I'm actually knackered. It's been a long, long day, and I'm knackered. I understand the EFF did a protest yesterday outside the consulate in Joburg, and that some of the people were supposed to be interviewed for the refugee interview couldn't get interviewed, but some did get interviewed. I can confirm that. It's a bit of a mess. I'm not sure what their problem is. A bunch of retards. Chris Sigi doesn't like Warthog. I don't think I've ever had Warthog. Heatwave is still grilling. You rock. Thank you. Grilling us in Bolito. Love watching meet and greet. Felt like I was there. Well, that's why we do it. So the first one I ever live streamed was the one we did in Pretoria that CB set up. That was really fantastic, and that's the one where we had Dumodenga came to it, and Koketso Retsane, and so many cool people. We had like I think 50 people at 40 or 50 at that one. That was the first big one I ever had. That was back in 2022. The weather played along as well. It looked awesome. Yeah. Oh, the weather was amazing. But look at my face, man. I am fried. Look, like I've been put out in the sun. I was. And I stayed out of the sun most of the day, but it was brutal. Yep. Thank you. It was nice to see what our future can look like. Real community support. It was amazing. Well, there might have been, but I didn't drink any. It was unfortunate. A couple people said they didn't bring their kids because they thought they couldn't bring kids. I don't know how that got across to people. If you're not sure, ask. So my apologies that was unclear. But I mean, yeah, the only thing I said is that, I mean, people asked me about alcohol. I said, well, you can bring alcohol, but I mean, you got to drive. So keep that in mind. Yeah, the weather was fantastic. It was really amazing. It got cool in the evening, which is fine. But this was, if everyone could talk as fast as you do, the Texas meet and greet would have had it last 25 minutes. Yeah, no, my ankle's fine. It was just, it's never been in pain since I twisted it. So it's been great. Not been a problem. Yep. You're a fully loaded vitamin D. Need your silver sun tablets. Yeah, exactly, Debbie. Yep. Good day to David van Reenen. Guys, look, I mean, so, you know, all these Ferrayas and haters that not here in the chat that always want to start crap and people are like, why do you do this? So today is an example why I do it. There are so many similarities between true Americans and true South Africans. The spirit of working together, hanging out and just sharing. And, you know, the camaraderie that comes along with that. Human beings are generally social creatures. And for me, I do get something out of this. It's really cool for people to recognize me. You know, a couple of people came up, Lily came up, and then when Ross came up, and both of them said really nice things about me because I introduced Ross as well, kind of caught him off guard there. I kind of joked and said, well, gosh, I mean, I'm going to keep inviting people up here because they all keep saying nice things about me. One of the next meet and greet work people, 35 Rand, thank you for the super chat. And the next meet and greet will be in Las Vegas, baby. Vegas. Probably late March. I'm trying to sort that out right now. I've got to change the dates back and forth. So, yeah, so I'm working on that. They appreciate your assistance. Yeah, no, people really did. And it's why it's kind of frustrating when people attack me. I mean, not that I lose any sleep over it, but look, I mean, guys, I mean, is there anything more rewarding than changing someone's life? Is there anything more rewarding than changing the trajectory of someone's life? I'm not talking about bringing refugees here. I'm talking about bringing the truth and giving genuine analysis and not propaganda and not lying to people and treating all people with respect and fairness. You know, someone said to me that I attacked them because they asked me a question. I don't know who that was. This lady sent me this message and I don't understand what she's talking about. She gave me no context. I don't attack people unless they're rude, disrespectful, or they're seeking attention unnecessarily. So I'm not really sure. Maybe she took something wrong. Maybe I was talking about someone else and she inferred that it was her, but I seriously doubt that that's an accurate statement. But anyway, but back to the point. So for me, it's truly rewarding to change the trajectory of someone's life by simply exposing them to the truth and being honest and fair with them. And this is the problem, is that people don't want honesty and fairness. Not my viewers, but others. And that's why it irritates them when someone gives that sort of thing and someone steals their limelight. I'm not trying to steal anybody's limelight, but I am damn well not going to bullshit people. And so some people appreciate that, some people don't. And frankly, I don't care if people don't appreciate it. They can take a long walk off a short pier as far as I'm concerned, because I'm not in the business of lying to people. I never have been in that business. When I brief commanders, I didn't go, well, sir, things are going to be fine. You know why? Because lives are on the line. See, I think a lot of people lose sight of that. When I brief a commander, when I was an intelligence officer, what I tell that commander means people could die or they'll survive. And if I do a half-assed job or I sugarcoat it, then people die unnecessarily and people suffer. And I'm not talking about soldiers, I'm talking about civilians as well. So I've always taken this charge quite seriously, to be honest with people. There are some things you can't always share because they're sensitive, but I'm honest with people. Future says the voters in South Africa allow this apocalypse to happen. U.S. voters won't allow it in their country. Yep. Guys, let's go back to 2021. The trajectory wasn't completely set in stone like it seems to be now in South Africa. If it's not stone, it's in cement that's quickly hardening. In 2021, I begged South Africans. I spent months convincing them to go to the polls. And my channel wasn't that big. It was 20-some thousand subscribers. And I said, please go vote. Vote. With a low voter turnout, it takes fewer votes to gain control of the municipality. If you gain control of the municipality, you can show what your party can do. And even if you don't gain control, if you're in the Freedom Front Plus or the ACDP or something like that, you can ally with someone like Democratic Alliance and you can fix the city council and fix the potholes and fix the water and fix the governance and fix the street lights. You can show that someone other than ANC can rule. And I beg South Africans, I did 43 interviews. 43 interviews. Nobody in South Africa, any media did that many interviews of any politicians. candidates for office and leaders of 6 political parties: the IFP, the Freedom Front Plus, the UDM, the UDM, UIM, not the DA, but leaders in the DA. I did 6 leaders of 6 different political parties. And I begged for South Africans to go vote. And I said, it doesn't take much to change this trajectory. And they stayed home. 31% of eligible voters went out to vote. They stayed home. And so when it was said a moment ago about Future Looks Bright that South Africans brought this on themselves, they did. Americans started to allow it to happen, and it has begun to happen. We're being colonized by people who hate us because of idiots in this country who allowed it to happen. We've got to stop it. So Heinrich Kaneda said, Morgen Colonel, your Afrikaans raak lekker. Well, that's very kind of you to say that. Fantastic to hear that. I'm going to start doing like Professor G does. He throws a few Afrikaans words out there, and over time he says them so often he starts stringing sentences together. But he's getting lessons from an instructor. I don't have time for that. Yeah, I even covered the election. Well, no, that was the last election, Debbie. I'm talking about the 2021 election. 2021, I couldn't go to South Africa. I was in the U.S., but I did cover the election live. But I mean, I wasn't at stations. For the 2024 election, I was live. 13 polling stations on a single day in the Western Cape. It was I did Table View, I did Rondebosch, Sea Point, Parklands, Monenberg, Khayelitsha, Somerset West. It was epic. We're happy to help and give you lessons. Well, thank you for that, Twinkle Toes. Citizens get the party they voted for, and the minorities also have to deal with the consequences. Yep. Yeah, but with so few black South Africans voting, whites, coloreds, and Indians could run the table in some places. Well, if South Africans let Steenhuisen disillusion, that's on them. But by the way, John Steenhuisen still has, he's in the pocket of the ANC, and I know that because the media are being generous to him. They're still being generous to him. Their ridiculous story running in the News 24, just comical. Black selection, they play games with registrations, wife and husband, family, and to try and vote at different places. Yeah, that's crazy. Ons kort net portret van Colonel Oppenperd. Okay, ons kinders kan veel van die soldaat werden naar kennis vlag, but baie mense se levens verander. Okay. Yes, they do have duty to vote. Much love to you, Colonel. You deserve very happiness in the world for your humanitarian efforts and helping South Africans. Can't wait to treat you when you're back in South Africa. Well, Nicola, I mean, now that I've found Ballito, I want to spend more time there. That was not enough time. And besides, with a flat tire, it kind of dampened the mood. I think I was in a pretty good mood despite having a flat tire, don't you? Walk down the polling station next because the first you didn't want us to vote. That's just crazy, Sally. Can't the 10 people in your yard give you some language lessons? The snow chased them all away. Hank Adrian says his tent was buried under snow. His FEMA tent got covered. When the snow slid off the solar panels, it was like an avalanche. Yeah, well, the true watershed year to save America was 2020, 2024. If we hadn't saved America, we'd be screwed. We'd be so royally screwed. If that cackling Kamala had become the president, oh dear God. Presidents ain't voted in this corrupt clown Ramposa. Just watch the swear words. What swear words? I didn't say any swear words. Florida, Fort Myers. Well, you'll like Fort Myers, Willem. I don't like Florida, but you'll like Fort Myers. Town moved only had 2 and they wouldn't let us vote. Well, that's just a criminal act. Next meet and greet. Have a Poikies competition. That would be awesome. Yeah, that'd be cool. Maybe I can bring you an Afrikaans dictionary. I have an Afrikaans dictionary. Thank you. But yeah, you're welcome. Bring one. It might be better than one I have. Struggling with UBC2 have escalated at least a dozen times. That's crazy. Yes, you were your genuine, authentic self, even with a few painful guests at the table. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Nicklin, I forgot all about that. I got to meet you, and if I recall correctly, I got to meet your mom. Of course, I might be getting old and senile. It was your mom, wasn't it? It was there. November, the USA, with new voting rules, might be interesting, a more true reflection. Will I be able to join the Kentucky National Guard? Only if you are a permanent resident. So once you have permanent residency, you can join if you meet the age and physical requirements and education standards. Yep. I did, Sloth Puppy. You were here in 2020. I did tell people this is the time you have to do it. And the reason I said this is because municipal elections matter significantly. Municipal election gives you the results where you can show. I mean, most South Africans don't see what DERCO does on a daily basis. It doesn't impact them directly. Most of them don't see what the Defense Department does, but they see potholes, they see collapsed pylons and no electricity. They see crime, they see services not being delivered, rubbish not being collected. They know that hospitals suck. All of these things are locally either assumed to be provided or provided locally. So yeah. No, I didn't interview any refugees today, Dogzilla. No, it was a meet and greet, not interviews. Tomorrow and Monday, I make myself available if anyone wants to be interviewed. Tomorrow morning, I'm being interviewed. And then after that, I'm interviewing one of the people who's there today. So, yep. Well, James, it's funny because a couple times today, the South Africans, they were struggling with their English, saying things from Afrikaans to English. But of course, I know what they're saying because I know what the Afrikaans are trying to say. So I helped them sort it out with, a couple times. But I mean, it happens. I mean, they would help me out in Afrikaans if I struggled. But I don't usually try to convert English to other languages because I speak so many languages. And so I try to, I mean, it's a natural thing to do. So it's funny when like Germans try to do that because the language structure is all screwed up because a lot of times the verb comes at the end and it doesn't work that way in English. So it gets confusing. The government shutdown. So no, the government shutdown is not happening, Vanner. They signed a deal on Monday or Tuesday. And so the government was fully reopened, but they only funded the Department of Homeland Security until the 13th of February, I think it is. So we just have a week left and then they can shut that down. The rest of the government's funded through 30 September. Luggage. Iowa says 2 bags, 23, 1 cent. Okay, that's what it normally is, but airlines can be a little bit different. So I did get something from somebody that just flew over and they said that they had paid for a bag on their own and it caused a problem because some locations you go to, you're on a small plane, you don't get 2 bags. I don't know that that's true, and I'm not arguing with the person that said it to me. But I mean, if it's a small airline, you just pay for the second bag. So you might have to pay for the bag for the final leg when you come to States. But I think the best bet is when you get to the airport, sort it out. So, but I mean, the international flights, they change the same thing. They charge the same thing whether you pay at the airport or online. But domestic flights, when you book in, I think you pay more if you show up in the airport with it. Well, Martini Henry says, an Afrikaner speaks Afrikaans, you will be able to stand fully. It depends. Those guys from the West-Transvaal are hard to understand sometimes. You get that deep Bodiki accent there, the Boers. And when people speak fast. Tonight, most Afrikaners spoke to me when he spoke Afrikaans, spoke fast. And I missed 25 to 30% of the things. And sometimes it's the key words of the structure. But I got the gist of it tonight. And most times I think I answer the question, but I answer in English. 50-year-old farmer from Reet Valley has died after being stabbed in a violent house robbery. Chimney crickets. Unbelievable. Thank you, Mad Max. It's ridiculous. Well, Arc Precision Solutions isn't just the time and the effort. It's also the fact that that we had to postpone for a week. But it was serendipitous. Today was the 1-year anniversary. I got 6 minutes left for the 1-year anniversary. How many people are celebrating the 1-year anniversary? Anybody? Does anybody even talk about it? Anyone in South Africa? I don't see any media talking about it. It's the 1-year anniversary of President Trump's executive order. I see nobody talking about it. Maybe I missed something. You guys tell me if I missed something. It's a 1-year anniversary. Your attack was clarified as a robbery. Clarified by whom? SAPS? Don't stand for that. We'll be in the USA Wednesday, a long or short time. Southeast. Okay. No, cool. Not a word that I've seen. Yep, classified. Not in the media. Absolutely nothing. Respond to first year anniversary. Nobody. One guy had to post this video, but nothing in mainstream media. Well, I did a video last night. Maybe that was the guy he posted on. Lots of videos popping up about Julius being okay with whites all of a sudden. Well, of course, he's always been okay with whites. He likes to thrust it into white women. We know that. Little side in a small house on the side there, Juju. Yeah, he's got nothing wrong with white people. He's just a fraud. He's a grifter who just loves to run a spiel. Again, people say he's a racist. I've never thought he's a racist. I think he's just an opportunist who's glommed onto something that he knows will resonate with people. Celebrate with a drink in a beer mug I got at the embassy. Okay, cool. James Warren, good evening to you. Good morning. Yeah, SAPS. Well, screw SAPS. It's not a robbery. Document stuff yourself. Yep. And yeah, so I mean, so if you've got that police report and you don't mind me exposing it, scan it or take a picture of it and send it to me. And you can contact me and I will do the video. So when the farmer was assaulted and beat so badly, died in hospital 3 days later in Brits last year, and he's the father-in-law of a friend of mine. When that happened, they gave me the police report and I exposed SAPS. It started a crap storm with the SAPS and Brits. The commander came out and apologized, and they promised to get the bottom of it, but it did not endear me to the police in Brits. Charles Edward Cook says, meet and greet was epic. Thank you. We were contacted. Again, I apologize for the microphone and having to restart. I had to reboot my phone too to make sure I could get the microphone working. It's working perfectly fine now. I had no idea. Maybe it was interference that it wouldn't connect. So it plugs into the USB-C connection, and then it does Bluetooth between that device, not the phone, but that device and my microphone. It just wouldn't work. So, and you can't hear people without it. So I realized it. So I had to restart it. So apologies for that. And also for those who are expecting something different, I don't know what you're expecting, but it was exactly what we said it was going to be. You might be upset Trump isn't taking more action against the ANC, but the refugee program running in the background is death by thousands. Oh, yeah. This is death by paper cuts. This is paper cuts for SARS. Paper cuts for SARS. That's what this is, ladies and gentlemen. Any updates on the John Steenhuisen foot and mouth disease epidemic? Longman, the problem with that is that when you see what Malema does and who he hangs out with, he has no problem with white people. It's just BS. I mean, maybe he is, and I'm not calling him racist, but I don't see it. But then I don't know what's in his heart, so I really can't say. Media report on the attack that happened to the family last week, Friday? No. No. Not that I know. It wasn't last week. It was yesterday. Or are you talking about different? We had a refugee who was supposed to fly on Tuesday, broad daylight, in her home, shot through the chin, bullet exited her skull. Her husband came back and found her. Their 7-year-old daughter was in the house. She thinks her mother fell down. Obviously, she didn't see the assailant, and neither did the housekeeper. She's in hospital now. They were terrified that she was going to have paralysis. But apparently, Friday night, this happened Friday morning. Friday night, she woke up and ripped all the tubes out of her arms. And so the paralysis doesn't look like it's going to be a problem, but we don't know if she's had any brain damages. It's a horrific situation. They were flying on Tuesday, and now they're not going anywhere, at least for the foreseeable future. We pray that she has a good recovery. We hope everyone has a great day. Thank you, Colonel. You deal with so much every day. Dion's estimate, I do, and I don't think most people realize the stories there. I've shared it with some of the refugees here. People don't realize the things that people share with me. And a lot of people need to unburden themselves, and it's absolutely horrific. Yep. No, it is an unnecessary tragedy, especially if they'd gotten out this week, then it wouldn't have happened. Prediction regarding the Trump, the cap will be exceeded is my expectation. It's not a prediction, it's my expectation. There's a difference. Thank you. And I can't share the name because I don't have permission to do that, but I have talked to the husband, and he was remarkably calm, but I could tell that he was heartbroken, and not because of the refugee thing, but because his wife is lying in a hospital and nobody knows what happened. And this is the senseless violence in South Africa that afflicts all South Africans, black, white, and brown. The ANC should be disgraced. They should get no votes. No one should vote for this party that allows South Africans to be treated in such a callous fashion because of a feckless judicial system. For those of you who watched episode 5 of Beluftalan, you heard what I said about the country and what's going on there. No, I got that, Dion. It helps to speak to someone who understands, even if we don't expect a reply. Well, I try to reply to everyone, but the other piece too is that, I mean, I don't think most people know just the stuff that I deal with, just trying to help people and just being a sounding board for them. It's the things that have happened to South Africans will make you turn white in an instant. And all of this comes to me. I hear all of this stuff. It's cray-cray. It's absolutely cray-cray, folks. I mean, look, I'm not asking people not to unburden, because you need someone. and it's not being provided by others. So I'm happy to help where I can. But I'm just, I think a lot of people don't appreciate it. It's not just, I go on YouTube and I do a video and I talk to people and yada, yada, yada. No, it's a lot more. So I did a video yesterday, 1 year anniversary, and I only got 2,700 views on it. That's just crazy. So Julie says, the meet and greet was the best part of my week. Amazing and just great people. Yep. Thank you. Raise the cap when it's reached. We took in millions, many of whom shouldn't be here. They'll raise it. I agree, Light Rain. Yep. That's true. And most stuff gets swept under the rug. 200 likes already. Cool. That's great. Jackie Kane, the meet and greet was epic. Thank you for all you do. And again, my apologies. I don't know what's going on with my phone. See, I've been live now for 45 minutes, and the front-facing camera hasn't had a problem. I guess the other camera doesn't like being on that long, so it's crazy. Just, Colonel, the host of Bull of the Land ran as leftist. Yeah, no, I'm very well aware of that, Vanna, and the documentary is not balanced, although episode 5 was one of the most balanced. But I was distressed at some of the people he had in the program, like Peter Creel. I'm like, seriously? Yep. Would you want to have a meet and greet in Ohio? Yes, absolutely, Cinderella. I could go visit my sister. My sister lives near Newark. My little sis. I love her to bits. I almost adopted her when I was younger, but it just didn't work out because I didn't want her to be in the environment she was in. But yeah, no, I'm happy to do a meet and greet, but it sounds like I'm gonna have to go to Cleveland. Yeah. Mid-year review of the cap is in March in any case. Exactly, Bobby Jean. Exactly right. Maybe your phone's camera didn't like the heat. Yeah, but it was in the shade. I think it's that I just used the one you take for pictures, and I don't think I've ever run it that long before. So maybe that's a problem. Thank you. You do. You're an angel for having. Well, thank you, Jolene Lottering. Thank you for the 14 Rand super chat. All the folks you met yesterday doing well, or some struggling. Okay, so some people will be here 5 days that came to meet and greet. Other people have been here 5 months. So it was a mix of things, but none of them seems to be having a particularly bad situation with the refugee case officers. They've all been pretty, flexible, reasonable in their expectations that I talked to. Most seem to be having good experiences. Leely's doing fantastic. Some of the others doing very well too. People who just came here. I had people from Houston drive up, refugees. Yeah. And there's people, it's going pretty well for most people. Little Gitch was nothing compared to the gathering. Thank you, Julie. What would be best camera to use for outside? Maybe GoPro. Let's do a fundraiser with the camera. No, guys. The camera, if GoPro doesn't go live, it doesn't have transmission capability. It has software. I have to use my phone because I can use YouTube on it because it's an app and broadcast. So that's why I use it. No, my phone is it's going on 6 years old. But again, I think the issue had a lot more to do with the fact that I was using. There we are. Okay, sorry about that, guys. No, you weren't buffering. I lost 250 people. Wow. No, it's not frozen. I couldn't get the camera back. It's not you. It's not frozen. I couldn't get the camera back, so it's back now. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's the problem with doing it on a mobile, and that's what happened. It was still live. I was trying to figure out how to get it back, so I finally figured out how to get it back. So sorry about that. I was trying to do something here, live chat, and suddenly it just knocked everything out. So we're good. Yeah, but we dropped a lot of people, so I'm down to 165 now. Gee, many crickets. Hopefully there's 211. Hopefully they come back. Yeah, it wasn't your end. It was my end, and it was because I was trying to adjust the chat, and it exited the app. Well, I'd have to be a technical whiz to get that back because I had to go back to the start button as if I'm creating a new stream, and I went into the laptop first to make sure it wasn't live, and it said it was still live. So I'm like, okay. Now I went back. So yeah, anyway. Okay, we've answered that question, Dogzilla. 85 people were there. About 55 were refugees. Next question. Answered previously. Answered on your posting, your smart-ass posting. How many people come to see you, buddy? Hey, Karen, what's going on? Anyway, so let me talk about John Steenhuisen because that's really chafing my shorts. Okay. All right, so, all right, I got two stories I want to talk about here. One in the Wall Street Journal, which is finally admitting the trouble about South Africa. Now the mainstream media is catching on. They came for its riches, but big business is souring on South Africa. Gangs, illegal supply chains, and misconduct diminish the allure of Africa's largest economy. The corporate exodus from what is supposed to be Africa's breakout economy is accelerating, propelled by a toxic cocktail of corruption, lawlessness, and poor infrastructure. Foreign investors from Shell to British American Tobacco are downsizing in South Africa. Those decisions could mark a watershed moment for a country where the government's ability to deliver basic services becomes so limited that private firms have taken over many basic civic functions. Africa's biggest and most developed economy has long been plagued by logistical problems, including failing infrastructure and rising electricity costs. Firms have put up with those drawbacks for access to South Africa's deep seam of mineral wealth and its growing consumer market. But a catalog of recent high-profile corruption scandals, often linked to laws intended to right the racial wrongs of apartheid, have eroded South Africa's reputation among investors and exacerbated the country's fundamental problems, including regular days-long water and power outages. Legislation designed to improve the lot of South Africa's black majority has also deterred investment. Elon Musk's SpaceX was in talks with South African officials about launching Starlink, which could have boosted the fortune of the country's economic backwaters. But the world's richest man is demanding exemption from a rule that requires foreign companies give 30% of their local operations to black South Africans. The World Bank estimates that crime costs South Africa's economy 10% of gross domestic product, including stolen property, the extra cost of security and insurance, and missed economic opportunities. Rolex closed its South African affiliate office in 2024, citing what a spokesman called the evolution of local markets. Criminals collectively dubbed the Rolex gang terrorized wealthy Johannesburg residents by robbing them of their luxury watches at gunpoint, often shooting first and grabbing the watch after. The Rolex spokeswoman declined to say whether such groups influenced the company's decision. Shell, along with BP, sold their refinery they jointly owned to South African state-owned Central Energy Fund in 2024 for 1 South African rand. 1 South African rand they sold that rand for. 1 rand. 1 rand. A few cents. Or 6 cents. That same year, Shell said it would sell gas stations in this country, but the energy company has yet to find a buyer. Nobody wants to buy their crap. It's less about proceeds, more about taking things that don't fit into our strategy. British American Tobacco has announced it's closing its last cigarette manufacturing factory in South Africa. Factory facility by the end of this year due to illicit trade has wiped out 75% of the local market. It goes on and on and on. The Boston-based firm Bain Capital was banned from doing business with the South African government after the National Treasury accused it of corrupt, fraudulent practices, which weren't true. Yep, it just goes on. Anglo-American is, it's a mess. Okay, so amidst all of that, listen to this clown car show that is John Steenhuisen. All right, so let me get back to chat and see what people are saying in the chat before I do that. So, such sadness. Please give condolences to family. She's not dead, Karen. She's not dead. She was shot in the head. She's still alive. But thank you for that. Hey, Andre Muster, what's going on? Thank you for through that. We appreciate you. Colonel, do you realize how many lives you changed, save, help, and inspire? Well, Peter, yeah, I don't know how many because the YouTube numbers lie. They're misleading. But I do know that it's a lot of people. And I see it each and every day. And I'm so grateful for those who thank me and those who stick with the program and those who don't fall for the nonsense that people lie about me and lie about my program. It's truly, it's heartwarming. And that's why when people write me and say that I attack them, I'm apoplectic. Attacked who? Yes, I've Dogzilla, someone who's faced a little bit of my mild wrath for his behavior, and he knows it. He does it on purpose. So I mean, his feelings aren't hurt. Trust me. Otherwise, he wouldn't keep coming back. But I don't attack people unless they're acting like an ass and they attack me or they're rude. So anyway, yeah. So now I'm curious. The Colonel was manufactured at Boston Dynamics. You're gonna see a drop. Some of us need to be at church. I got that, Alabama. How many refugees were here? Question. When the citizens have to pay their own safety and security, then the state has failed. Exactly. That's the role of the state. Keep you safe. Same with the hospitals. Yep. Elon will probably become president. Okay. Thanks for the update. I pray she has a speedy and full recovery. Yeah, same here. I asked Rock to analyze the job loss impact of all business, and they estimate 140,000. Yep, there you go. 840,000 jobs. Yep. How is Michigan? Well, it depends. I like the Upper Peninsula, Michigan. I like Central Michigan. You get up further north. Don't like the Detroit area. Hey, Light Rain. Georgina Samuels, we are 100% behind you because you talk the truth. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. All right, so now get ready for the comedy show. You guys ready for the comedy show? Oh boy, this is going to be hilarious. So this is in City Press, and it's from Norman Masungwini. Okay. Well, yeah, thank you. It's very kind of you, Leslie. May I send you an email? Yeah, that's fine. I was going to do the mail call with the Colonel today, but this just isn't time. I'll probably do it tomorrow. The refugee chat, I'm not sure how I'm going to do that tomorrow because it's going to be weird, but I can't check into my hotel till later, so we'll figure something out. Anyway, so here we go. City Press. Steenhuisen warns the DA not to ditch the GNU after he's gone. Steenhuisen insists the GNU prevented the Doomsday Coalition and positioned the DA as a credible governing party. Okay, first off, there was no Doomsday Coalition. I listed it as one of the possibilities, and I said it was the least likely possibility in the 2024 elections. Remember, the videos are there. I did that. When did I do that? So let me see. Election. Let me see if I can find that when I did that. I mean, I cover this. No one else was doing this when I did it. So let me see. Let me search elections. ELECT. Excellent. Okay. Show all. 131 videos to talk about election. That's crazy. So RCA elections, winners, MK. So it's before that. 2024 election enthusiasm. Oh no, that's too far back. It's got to be before. So that was election. This is it right here. Coalitions scenarios. I did on March 12th, 2024. Okay. A couple months before the election. In 6:51 is the video. Let me see. So I'm going to play it and I'll jump ahead so I can see what I said where. So, yeah. So, whoops, that was not what I wanted to hear. Since 1994 and the advent of the modern democracy. And what? Hey, Snippets, how do I contact Project S? This is the current composition of the South African. They have, I think, a group. You can Snippet, send me an email, and I'll try to get a hold of them and let them know you want to reach them. So I'll pass them your email, okay? Or you send me an email with your phone number, and I'll pass it to them. If you send me an email with your phone number, I'll send it to Nicole. I'm in contact with her. So Parliament, I've got that there. Let me jump ahead. And where are the coalitions at? Okay, Parliament based on the Brand House survey. Okay. Well, where am I? Okay, here we go. So here's my, come on, there we go. Okay, so I've got scenarios here. Come on, YouTube, print it up here, run it. Okay. God bless it. Okay, I call this portion the implosion of South Africa scenario. I said MK ANC coalition, and we give them 52% of the vote. This is my prediction for the election. I said the DA 27%, they didn't get that. EFF at 10, they got 9. IFP at 2, they got a little bit more than that. MK ANC 52%, 206 seats. I call that the implosion of South Africa scenario, which is what he's calling the doomsday scenario. I changed the name. Then I have another one coming up. I have hang on a second here. There it is, ANC-DA coalition. ANC-DA coalition, which was what I predicted was the most likely. Come on, where's it at? There it is. I said ANC-DA coalition 66%, MK 13%, EFF 10%, IFP 2%. The DA and ANC get 264 seats out of 400. And that's the one I said was most likely. And that's what happened. But then Project X is an effort to get pets over here because Pet Lift is another one. There's 2 of them out there. So, yeah, so that's ANC-DA. And then I went on to the Armageddon scenario. This is the one I called it. The Armageddon, the Doomsday scenario, I call it Armageddon South Africa scenario. ANC, MK, EFF, and 62% coalition, which I said was never going to happen. It was least likely. So my prediction was, as I said, it would be the ANC and the DA, and that's exactly what it was. Then I called it the Grand Coalition, which is kind of what became the Government of National Unity. The Grand Coalition South Africa scenario, ANC, MPC, that's a multi-party charter. And that wound up being ANC and MPC, 72% of seats. It with EFF and MK left out in the cold. And that's essentially what this became. That's what I predicted right there. Right there. So that's what I predicted. Grand Coalition, South Africa, ANC, multi-party charter, 72%. That was in March of 2024. And initially, what really happened was the DA-ANC coalition, but then the ANC turned it into this after the election and after they reached an agreement. So, I mean, it's there, folks. If you want to watch and go back and see how accurate I was, and this is based off of polling and off of my predictions. So, there it is. The record's there. It's not like, I'm with Johnny come lately and I'm making claims after the fact. The video's still up, 6-minute video. Didn't have many views either. If more people watched my videos back then, how many views did it have? Let me see. That video had 2,400 views. Yep. Miss Tukatela. I haven't seen Miss Tukatela. Where the hell's she at? I love your show. Thank you for helping. Okay. You're very welcome, Johan Ritz. What topics for the upcoming midterms will be about the debt ceiling? I have to walk to Micah and back to buy a double-sided garden rake. Okay. Considering all the laws passed, this seems to be the doomsday coalition. Yeah. Put your name on the subject line. There you go. Debbie's telling you what to do so when you send me an email so I can get it. And I will give them your number. And yeah, so I don't have permission to hand out their number. So yeah, let's do it that way. Anyway, don't follow my example. I apologize. Don't want to create chat drama. Sometimes it's just too much. Light rain. Snippets. How do I contact Project X? That just explained it. Somebody says your channel analysis, humor, and chat participants are a wonderful part of my day. Well, I'm glad to hear that. John just can't afford to lose his ministerial post. No, because who's going to buy his Uber Eats? Kadi was enjoyable to watch. Well done for all concerned. Thank you. All right, cool. Okay. Truly believe that you've saved many lives. Thank you so much, Leslie. All right, let me get back to the John story. Hello, everyone. I'm Sante, lead singer of Three Doors Down, has died. He was my hero. Sorry to hear that, Jacques. Okay. It's a pet immigration effort. So I actually met someone today who's sending her 2 cats over through Project X. So that was interesting. And her boyfriend actually met me in a meet and greet. So he's still in South Africa. That's fascinating. Okay, so I want to read the Sean Steenhuisen thing. Let me get to that before I forget it, because it's pure gold. I mean, it's pure comedy gold. Where the hell's it at? So that's not it. I'm in the wrong window here. Where's that window at? That's not it. So Scotland got beat, and I predicted it. My super brew. I called it. I called it. I called it. Where the hell's it at? Come on. There we go. Okay, so Steenhuisen says the VAT victory marked a turning point when the ANC finally accepted consensus-based decision-making within the coalition government. Steenhuisen keeps taking credit for stopping the VAT increase. It wasn't the DA, it was everybody else. The future DA leader must build on genuine success to attract voters who are banning the ANC. Well, what about the voters who are banning the DA, buddy? Outgoing DA leader John Steenhuisen has issued a stark warning to his potential successor. Banning the government of national unity would be a catastrophic mistake that could plunge South Africa back into chaos and economic decline. Really? In an exclusive interview ahead of DA's National Congress in April, where he will not seek re-election, Steenhuisen defended his decision to join forces with the ANC and 8 other parties. See, that's a lie. Steenhuisen didn't make the decision to join other parties. Helen Zille and Tony Leon made that decision. And quite frankly, they didn't join 8 other parties. They joined the ANC. Then the ANC went behind their back because they were powerless, castrated eunuchs, and went to the other 8 parties to make it look like they weren't joining with the DA, and they joined with all these other parties. That's a crock. So this story is factually wrong. I'm sorry, factually wrong. We don't forget. The DA formed a coalition with the ANC, which was one of the predictions I said. That happened. Then the ANC went behind their back and invited 8 other parties. That is not what happened. Steenhuisen's GNU. No, it wasn't GNU. It was a coalition. Being able to actually deliver to people on the ground is a very powerful place to be, said Steenhuisen. Well, when do you start delivering for people on the ground there, Johnny boy? When does it happen? He said, I would hope that the DA would just not simply have a knee-jerk reaction or react to a certain strain in the party. Ooh, he's attacking people in his own party. The 49-year-old leader, who has faced criticism from some within his own ranks for partnering with the ANC, argued that voters would never forgive the DA for walking away from the opportunity to prevent what he termed the doomsday coalition between the ANC, EFF, and Mkhonto we Sizwe. Once again, there was no doomsday coalition. It was never in the cards. It's never going to happen. This is bullshit to cover his failure. Sorry for the language. Somebody's told me not use profanity. So His departure sparked concerns about the GNU's future stability, with critics claiming that some of the candidates positioning themselves to replace him are among the strongest opponents of the coalition arrangement. Some believe he was out of his depth, which he vehemently dismissed. Oh, he's definitely out of his depth. You know, I've also defended John Steenhuisen for his lack of formal education, saying that, you know, he doesn't need that. But, you know, obviously, not only would have been a good thing for to have, but he clearly was out of his depth. He remained defiant about his leadership legacy, insisting his history would vindicate his decision to enter the government through the GNU. I think when the fullness of time and the history of this period are written, I think there will be a historical consensus that this was the right choice for the DA to make. Entering a coalition with the ANC may have been the right choice, but not doing anything and not walking away when the ANC invited 8 other parties shows how weak and feckless your party is. He warned that any future decision to exit GNU could result in South Africa returning to the Financial Action Task Force gray list, economic stagnation, and collapse in service delivery as radical parties gain influence. Exiting GNU could lead to the Financial Action Task Force gray list. Well, the Financial Action Task gray list, you didn't get them off of it, buddy. You have nothing to do with that. That is the Treasury and the Commerce, the Trade, not the Agriculture Department, not the Communications Department, not the Education Department. So the DA had nothing to do with that. Economic stagnation, well, you can't lead the economic stagnation when you're already in the economic stagnation. See, this is the delusional part. He's talking about doubling GDP output, but GDP output is growing at 0.6% per year. So what did he grow? What did John Steenhuisen grow? What a crock. And a collapse in service delivery as radical parties gain influence. Service delivery is collapsed in Port Elizabeth, in Joburg, in Tshwane, in Polokwane, in Cape Town. Service delivery is abysmal. You haven't prevented anything, buddy. Nothing. And so the DA keeps sending out ex post about what a major step forward, having 8,000 doses of a vaccine for foot and mouth disease 5 years after the outbreak occurred. Manufactured locally. Yeah, I'm not impressed. He said, pretty soon they'll be asking, well, why have you now plunged us into chaos with EFF and MK? If the growth that we started to see dissipates, we'll get back on the gray list. Service delivery will grind up. See, this just shows you how foolish John Steenhuisen is. Okay, let me explain something. The gray list for the Financial Action Task Force is not because of GDP growth. So maybe his lack of education, or I don't know what plays a role here, but he doesn't understand what's going on. The gray list has nothing to do with your economic performance. The gray list is for illicit financial transactions. South Africa was put on the list because it's a hub of terror financing flowing through South Africa and illicit financial flows from criminal activity. That's why you're on the gray list, because you weren't protecting your financial system. You were allowing it to be used by terrorists and by organized crime to launder money and also to send money to terrorists. So that's what the gray list was all about, not your calculation. He says, if we have MK and EFF, the growth we started will dissipate. Well, there is no growth. That's number one. Number two, we'll get back on the gray list. You'll get back on the gray list not because of growth, and service delivery will grind up. I mean, maybe his point here is you'll get on the gray list because I guess MK and EFF will allow terror financing. Maybe that's what he meant. So maybe I'll allow for that. Maybe I misunderstood what he said there. In dismissing criticism that he appointed his close allies in government, Steenhuisen highlighted the performance of the ministers and key portfolios as evidence of the party's positive impact with the government. Wow. Highlighted. What exactly has Solly Malatsa done in communications? I'm not attacking him, but what has he done? Anybody know anything that Solly Malatsa has done as communications minister? What about Savita Guruba? What has she accomplished as the education minister? We still have pit latrines in 100 plus schools, last I heard. So what exactly has she done? What has Dean McPherson done other than pretend that nil means something and laughing about Donald Trump? What has Leon Schreiber done in Home Affairs? He's actually done something positive, and Home Affairs has been much more responsive and effective since he became minister. That's the only success I would argue the DA has had with its ministerial positions. Dean McPherson in Public Works, what a comical joke that is. What public works are being done? What's the state of the phase 2 of the Highlands Water Project? What's the state of the South African ports? Oh, that's right. They're ranked 78th in the world, the worst performing ports on the planet. Okay, yeah. So you're doing a great job there, buddy. Doing a great job there. Yeah, sorry. The DA leader revealed the early negotiations with the ANC were pretty tense as the governing party struggled to accept its loss of majority status. I think that's when the ANC for the first time realized that they were going to have to deal with their coalition partners on a consensus basis, not just come in and throw something on the table and say, hey, this is how it's going to be. But that's exactly what's happened. The ANC has done whatever they wanted. Ramaphosa signed bills passed by the previous parliament into law for expropriation without compensation, national health insurance, the Basic Education Laws Amendment, the Employment Equity Act has come along now. It's basically radical economic transformation and radical cultural destruction of South Africa. The renaming campaign is out of control. Everything under the sun is being renamed as something unpronounceable, even to Africans. He dismissed suggestions that the DA has been swallowed by the ANC, arguing that the party had maintained its principles on key issues, including broad-based black economic empowerment, foreign policy, and land expropriation without compensation. So based on what John Seenhuis is saying, I guess the position's Democratic Alliance now when it comes to broad-based black economic empowerment is they're in favor of it, because he just signed into operation broad-based black economic empowerment for the European Union trade deal for agricultural products, which excludes white, Indian, and colored South Africans from those contracts. Only black South African farmers can have access to it. So apparently the DEA's position, according to this statement, is that they support race-based legislation, keeping people out. That's the first thing. Number two, he says that they have maintained their principles on foreign policy. What principles? What have you done about this open support for terror and terror state sponsors? What have you done? We've heard nothing about foreign policy. The only person you had working foreign policy that you spanked was Emma Powell. She actually spoke up for what's right, moral, and just. And you guys spanked her after you sent her to Israel and sent her to America, and then blamed her because she got called out by the media and by the ANC. Because you're cowards. You're cowards. And land expropriation? What is the DA's position on land expropriation? Because apparently they agree with it. If the DA stands by its key principles, well, land expropriation is in. It's the law of the land now. It's unconstitutional, but the DA isn't speaking up on that. Yes, I know they took it to court. They took it to court over a procedural thing, not over its constitutional violation. Steenhuisen says you are what you eat, and that's why you're seeing the economy moving. The economy's not moving. What planet is this guy living on? Planet Reebok? I mean, what economy is moving? Maybe the Cater economy is moving, but South Africa's economy is not moving. It's going sideways. Inflation is running at 3.6%. The economy is growing at 0.6%, 0.5%. How is that? That's minus 3.1%. Acknowledged that leading the DA while some of the former leaders remain in senior party positions and created persistent challenges. So that's a slight dig at Helen Zille, although he tries to claim he has no problem with her. Because, yeah, basically because Helen Zille is still in power, it's hampering his style. Well, your style is not affected, buddy. Snippets, I sent you an email, au plaisir de vous dire. Okay, I will read it at my pleasure as soon as I can. He insisted that Zilla had worked together as a leadership team with him. Anyway, it just goes on and on. It's just so sad to see. This guy is so out of it. By the way, Japan is voting in a snap election. The prime minister wants to increase her support. The polls show her coalition could bag 465 seats. That would be amazing. That'd be a huge turnaround, which they lost a decades-old coalition ally and the parliamentary majority. So the majority could give the majority back. That'd be amazing for her and for her party. So good luck to her on that. What is Hydrus doing saying, Emma Powell, what's that all about? Population growth of 1.5%. We're going backwards at a rate of knots. Yep. Pure capita income is worse in history. John Seenhuisen says your economy is growing. John Seenhuisen says it's all because of the DA. But the DA doesn't control finance. It doesn't control trade. Doesn't control commerce. It has no powers of lever, no levers of power on the economy whatsoever in South Africa. So how is the DA improving the economy? What have they done? Have they successfully fought race-based legislation? No. Have they even tried? Basically, no. I mean, this guy is living in a fantasy world. He is what he breathes. Really feel sorry for DAPR counselor. She's fantastic despite losing the ward to MK in our by-election. She gets results and is out at all hours attending outages. Yep. Well, and then they just vote her out, right? Very late, but we'll catch up. Have a wonderful day. Okay, but GDP per capita, foreign direct investment, debt to GDP worse than before the GNU. How is it better than it was in April 24? John Steenhuisen is smoking his socks. He's absolutely smoking his socks. Let me show you how that works, guys. Okay, hang on. So, hang on. So, yep. All right. So I'm going to do a reenactment now. So this is John Steenhuisen before his interview with City Press. So when people zoll, they roll the zoll. Yep. And when they have that zoll and they roll the zoll, then people smoke that zoll. I got a big fat blunt here. John Steenhuisen is smoking his socks. So, all right. So one down. As I said, Talon Bezuidenhout told us that when people zoll, they roll that zoll, and then they smoke that zoll, and they share the zoll. That's why we can't have cigarettes. We only have illicit cigarettes from the Zuma family, because you should be smoking only what the Zumas sell you. They put the saliva on the paper. They put the saliva on the paper, man. The coconut man. Thank goodness I don't have stanky feet, because they don't even smell. Hey, folks, you want to smoke some socks? Yeah. Seriously, man, he's smoking his socks. That's a government minister, yeah. Oh, my goodness, ladies and gentlemen. So that reenactment was brought to you by Chibuku, South Africa's favorite beverage, Chibuku. You have to light the sock. I did light the sock. I lit it off camera, man. I don't walk like an old man. I'm walking around a chair instead of stubbing my toes. I'll take a toke. License plate. Not license plate. License or registration. It's on the back of the car, man. It blows my mind that you can see how godless this government is, as far as, but at times people still think they're doing a good job. People too stupid not to see. I know, but people, it's amazing that he's trying to convince people this. I mean, look, I would love to see South Africa with 7% GDP growth, job creation. I would be so happy. I would invest in South Africa. Those socks are made for stinking, not smoking. You need a poster for that reenactment. So today we had the Lexington man, the freaking meet and greet. Here I am. I'm playing the role of the Zuma man, the Zuma family. So when I need a toke, I just roll and smoke my socks. When you need a good zoll, just take your socks and roll them up. That's the good stuff, man. Yeah, that's right. Also, I hurt my ankle. I need to make a song. Oh, Johnny boy. Oh, Johnny boy. The pipes are calling, Johnny boy. Look, the guy deserves to be freaking lampooned. He deserves a roast. So you're going to take a victory lap after leading the DA to by-election after by-election loss, to the PA, to MK, all over the board. They keep losing everywhere. They're in retreat. The blue wave is not even a trickle. Oh, my goodness. Look, I hope I'm wrong. I hope in elections the DA holds their own, but I wouldn't count on it. But John seems to think it's going great, and he's led them to great heights. You need some sleep. Why? Because I'm smoking my socks? Lexington, that's the one. Yeah, John B. Wells. He's got the voice, man. No, I want to be part of the Johnny crowd. You're on a roll, man. So great stuff. I'm telling you. And tonight's guest is the former leader of the Democratic Alliance and former Minister of Agriculture, now owner of a tuck shop somewhere in KZN, not too far from Margate. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Honorable Meneer Steenhuisen. Meneer Steenhuisen, so your time as leader of the Democratic Alliance was like, well, I must tell you that my time as leader of the Democratic Alliance was absolutely fantastic. The country was great. We doubled GDP growth to 0.5%. We convinced the ANC to sign national health insurance, EWC, the employment equity. No, we didn't convince them. We tried to stop them. It was amazing. It was amazing times. And the best part of my tenure as the leader of the Democratic Alliance and as a minister in the government of national disunity was the time I got to smoke my socks. You know, I prefer a good Marlboro or a Lexington cigarette, but I learned from Nkosazana Dalai NDZ that smoking your socks is a good way to Zol. And so I now like to Zol with my socks. I treat my socks as disposable. I wear them, then I Zol with them, and I burn them, and then that's it. And I must say that the aroma is a bit off-putting, but as a former leader of the Democratic Alliance and as the Minister of Agriculture who destroyed agriculture in South Africa, I can't get tobacco because the farmers won't sell it to me, so I rely on my socks for my lighting material. It's some people like cigars, but I like to smoke my socks because they're my socks, and I don't have to go buy them because I no longer have a credit card. So without a credit card, I can't buy tobacco, I can't buy socks. So I just I smoke my socks. It works for me. You should try it. You want to smoke my sock? That actually looks like pigs in a blanket. Reenactment, dramatic music playing in the background, cameras flashing in action. Hill Lewis looks like John's younger brother, almost. I am sorry to hear that was more local. I would volunteer to help for her. What's going on? What's Sami talking about? What is it? If someone does make sure I had to roll some socks. I can neither confirm nor deny that comment. Georgia Samuels. Sammy. Okay, what does Sammy say? Okay. Mark Dow, what's going on, man? I don't know what Sammy is asking. I don't see anything there. I missed it. I'm sorry, I missed Sammy's comment. Anyway, cereal socks. Yeah, maybe smoking cereal socks. That's right. I take the fifth. I have the right to prevent self-incrimination. Anyway, no, but seriously, I will admit up front, I have never done illicit narcotic. I have no interest in whatsoever. I am high on life. I don't need any illicit substance to get high. The closest I come to an illicit substance is a Starbucks. That's right, Misty. I am taking the fifth. I'm pleading innocent. I'm not. By the way, so some people were really impressed with my AI music. I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, it's right. Life is great. Anton says DA and ANC are the same. One day, an ANC member crossed over to DA and now working for DA from ANC. Yep. He's a guy that has bad dancers, can't manage a budget, or cook his own meals and loads of garbage and thinks he's intelligent. So, hello, Uber Eats. Uber Eats, yeah. I'd like my order filled again. That card number, the party took my card away. I can't get anything. Can I use my personal card? Well, I had a judgment against me, so I can't use my personal credit card. Do you take lotto tickets? Can I pay for Uber Eats with lotto tickets? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm announcing a Back a Buddy campaign to help pay the leader of the DA's credit card bill. I understand he's going through some difficult times and doesn't have the resource to pay his credit card bill. And no one leading a political party should such a fate should he suffer. We're looking to raise 150,000 Rand to pay off his credit card debt. And we appreciate your support. And understand that, the DA gets things done. So we're here to get it done. Get her done. We're trying to steal a line from Larry the Cable Guy. We want to get her done. So we'd like to raise 150,000 Rand on behalf of John Steenhuisen. Mr. John Steenhuisen needs money to pay off his credit card bill. and to prevent the bank from foreclosing on the assets he doesn't own. And therefore, we would like to raise 149,000 Rand as soon as possible. This Back and Buddy program is brought to you by the Angels of Texas. We're here to save John Steenhuisen from ignominy. It is our task to ensure that this man moves forward with as many Uber Eats as he needs to fulfill his daily nutritional needs. So we are going to raise 150,000 Rand, or 149,000 is close enough for this man's credit card bill. And we appreciate your kind donations. That money will go to great use, and it will ensure that John can continue to use Uber Eats. They have taken a big hit without orders from him. I understand that as many as 6 delivery folks have lost their jobs at Uber Eats because John Steenhuisen no longer has a credit card. And so we would like to help restore that employment, a part of that amazing economic growth that Mr. Steenhuisen has told us all about. And so we'd like to play our role. Therefore, we're doing a Back and Buddy program for the Steenhuisen man. And we are going to raise Mr. Stonehouse some money to pay off his credit card bill. Then he can get those Uber Eats people back to work, because we know it's really important. Hello. Yes. Yeah. Yes, you've reached the Democratic Alliance. The DA gets things done. No comment, Mr. Steenhuisen. No comment. The wave, yes, the blue wave will be coming. Where? Well, all over. We anticipate a big blue wave in the Northern Cape, where we suck. In KZN, where we suck really bad. Eastern Cape, we're non-existent, and maybe even in Mpumalanga, the blue wave is coming. Yes, it's not a tsunami, but it will be good. Okay. Yes. No. Comment. No further comment. Helen Zilla. I don't know where Helen is, and if I did, I wouldn't tell you anyway, because you're trying to report the truth. We don't like to share that. Thank you very much. I can't donate your funds. I have to purchase medication for my herd before they all die. Sawyer's Brink. Okay. Yeah, Chris Pappas also doesn't play the game. He's very good at what he does, though. Okay. Remember that song? New Stonehouse. Okay. Helen is the morning. Glad to see you hydrating after your sunburn. Yeah. Well, it's Coca-Cola. It's not the best hydration, but something. Missy says, brilliant. The whole time he's talking to a bag of weed. Got a roach, man? Use your roach. Decline your request to help Mr. Cena. Our funds are currently tied down to couch. Yeah. You know, I'm going to start lifting the mattress in every hotel I go to and see if I can't find dollars, you know? Seriously. Anyway, all right, guys. It's an hour and a half. I've got an interview in 7 hours. So I'm going to hit the rack, get a little bit of rest after a long day. You can see I got fried. So and be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done already. Thanks for joining me on a Saturday night when I don't normally do a live stream, but because of the meet and greet, I want to do one. Tomorrow, I'm not sure the schedule. I do know that I'll do my biz news interview. After the biz news interview, I'm going to do an interview with Roz, who's the singer today. It was fantastic. After that, I've got to vacate the hotel, but I might hang around if it's not busy in the breakfast room and do a news broadcast after that. So, but it'll be an abbreviated one. Then I got to get out of here and get to the next place. All right. Thank you all for being here. God bless. And thank you to everybody who watched the stream early. Again, my apologies for the audio and also for the frozen camera. It's a technology thing. It doesn't always work best, but you can see that we've been doing this for an hour and a half with the front facing camera and have no problems. It's been working fine. You guys take care. Stay well. Thoughts and prayers to the family whose mother and wife was shot in the head Friday morning, recovering, or at least, getting treatment in a hospital in Pretoria. This family was due to fly to the United States on Tuesday. Hopefully their dream is not over, and hopefully she recovers fully. What is just truly horrific situation in South Africa. It's just a crazy place. All right, ladies and gentlemen, God bless and good night.